Greetings and welcome. This is Rajiv Makni and the show, of course, is the Gadget 360 show, and we've got some really good stuff for you. The iPad Air 5. Now, this one is powered by the mighty M1 chip. So this is faster and better performance than any previous iPad Air, a new ultra-wide front camera, priced at about 54,900 rupees. The big deal really is the performance. But a lot of people are saying, is it overkill? But at that price point, who cares? Our next story is an incredible laptop from Asus, the Zenbook 14 Flip OLED. Premium, sleek, lightweight design, stunning 2.8K OLED display. This is a beautiful, beautiful screen. Now, it's a 2-in-1 laptop with a 360-degree hinge, thus the name, the Flip. The next one is a product that is a bit of a mouthful and also a tongue twister. Let me see if I can get it right. Let me see if I can even remember it right. I think it's called the KZZ-SN Pro X in-ear monitoring earphones. So, big name, but also pretty good sound. Wired earphones focused on impeccable sound, great design. Earphones sit deep inside the ear, comfortable for long hours. Fantastic sound, nice punchy bass, good treble to match, and price is amazing. This kind of quality at less than 2,000 rupees. And the Logitech Pop Mouse, the perfect mouse to partner with the Logitech Pop Keys keyboard. Remember, we did that one, reviewed that a few days earlier. This one comes in nice loud pop colors, has a customizable emoji key, silent but tactile clicks, all looking very, very good. Let's get started with today's Gadget 360 show.
1st April onwards, prices for Xbox Game Pass and Xbox Game Pass Ultimate are going to drop. While the earlier Xbox Game Pass Ultimate, which includes Xbox Gold Live subscription for online gaming and more than 100 games playable on both Xbox and PC, will now cost 499 rupees a month instead of the 699 rupees a month. The yearly subscription will now cost 5,999 rupees instead of 8,499 rupees. The Xbox Game Pass monthly subscription is down from 489 rupees a month to 349 rupees a month. And PC Game Pass also sees the exact same change, and it will now cost the same as 349 rupees a month. Well, looks like we're not done with the Witcher series yet. Much to the excitement of the countless Witcher fans, CD Projekt Red announced earlier this month that a new saga in the Witcher series is being developed. A partnership with Epic Games was announced as well, since the game will be developed with Epic's own Unreal Engine 5, a platform used for creating games. As for a possible release date or timeline, that's still a question and may as well be for a while.
Our top story is the iPad Air 5 or iPad Air 2022, whatever you prefer calling it. Same design. Let me get things out of the way. Same design as the previous iPad Air with some new colors, size and weight, perfectly comfortable for tablet tasks like reading articles, books and binging shows. But overall, the display is actually very nice. The only missing feature, I would say, it's not as big as the iPad Pros and it doesn't have 120Hz Pro Motion display. Great set of speakers, loud, punchy, the fingerprint scanner as always works well. 2x faster USB-C port which supports transfer speeds of now up to 10 Gbps and has now the new ultra-wide 12-megapixel front camera with support for center stage. But if I put all this aside, the big deal is that it comes with the M1 chip. This is super, super powerful and it's priced really well. 54,900 rupees.
Well, we have another Apple device with the M1 chip inside it. The 5th generation iPad Air. And we all know how fast the previous iPad Air was. But what does the M1 bring to it, with it already being faster than the competition? And with the iPad Pro having the M1 already, does it even make sense to get it now? Shouldn't one just stick to the iPad Air instead? Well, these are some common questions everyone is thinking about, and let us answer all of them in the next few minutes. Alright, so on the surface, things look almost identical to the previous iPad Air. It is the same design with the same dimensions. It is still easy to hold up and read articles, books, and surf through the wilderness of the internet. The bezels beside the display are slim but still thick enough to avoid accidental touches to the screen while the tablet is held. And yes, it does come with some new colors, a deeper and better blue, pink, and starlight. Now, the display that the bezels surround is also the same. A 10.9-inch 60Hz panel with a resolution of 2360 by 1640 pixels. It is still just as good with great colors and details. The aspect ratio does lead to bars above and below the content being watched, but that is something we just have become accustomed to. It still is great to watch movies on, read articles on, but if you expect to do stuff that you do on your laptop, then it might feel a bit cramped. The refresh rate is still half of what the iPad Pro does, but that only comes into effect with animations and scrolling. For the most part, you will be fine with this panel. The speakers that are coupled with the screen are also great, with one each on the left and right sides when you hold the tablet in landscape mode. They get loud and punchy too, and everything you hear will be clear. As for what is under the display, the M1 processor enables some great performance upgrades specifically for gaming. That is where you feel it the most. The high performance and graphics cores added by the M1 to the iPad Air make gaming smoother, better, more detailed and enjoyable. Plus, editing photos on Lightroom and videos on LumaFusion puts the performance upgrades to better use. However, if the user does the average tasks like surfing the web, reading or consuming content, the performance upgrades are not that noticeable. But above everything else, what puts a limit to witnessing the great performance on the iPad is still the OS. The iPad OS has a dire need of upgrades which increase the iPad's utility, which is so far very limited and not all that different from an iPhone. The next upgrade is a front camera. It is now an ultra-wide lens similar to all of the other iPads. It has support for center stage, which is great as it comes in handy during all the video calls. But the camera is still in a familiar yet unfortunate location. With so many of Apple's own accessories designed to make using the iPad in landscape orientation easier, it makes zero sense to place it according to portrait orientation. And the camera on the back is still the same old sensor, useful for scanning documents or taking the very occasional pictures. Among other details, while the fingerprint scanner is still the same as last year, the USB-C port has had an upgrade. It is now twice as fast with transfer speeds of up to 10 Gbps. So transferring photos and videos from an SSD is lightning quick, pun intended. As for the battery life, the iPad Air will still easily last through days when it is used lightly, but will last one entire day if used intensely. So the iPad Air starts at 54,900, but the base storage option is what is weird. It is just 64 GB. The next storage option is 256 GB, which takes the price up to 68,900, which brings it uncomfortably close to the 128 GB iPad Pro, which adds better speakers, a 120Hz display and a faster Thunderbolt 4 port, priced at 71,900. So, what's the best thing to do here? If you are okay with the storage of 64 GB, get the 64 GB iPad Air, end of story. But if that's not enough, get the 128 GB iPad Pro, which will make half the storage, and the 3,000 rupees extra worth it with its upgrades.
Next up is the laptop we all fell in love with here at the Gadget 360 show. This is the Asus Zenbook 14 Flip OLED. Very sleek, elegant design. Love the way they've made it. All made out of aluminium alloy. Great keyboard, massive trackpad. Trackpad also doubles as a touch-sensitive number pad. And it has support for USB-C charging and has a great selection of ports also. Pretty much everything you need is all covered. Now, let's come down to the display. Fantastic. 2.8K OLED display, color accurate, very safe for the eyes. Great, I mean really nice accurate colors. Great performance also, the Ryzen 7 16GB of RAM in the unit that they sent to us. Fans more or less remain silent even under heavy load, and you will get about 10-11 hours of battery life. What's not to love, especially at the price? 91,990. And why do they call it the Flip? Well, you're about to find out.
Some products come along that end up making a lot of sense, and the one we have today does that pretty well. We're talking about the Asus Zenbook 14 Flip OLED. It is a premium slim ultrabook that comes with an OLED display. Let's have a look at what it does right and what it doesn't to find out whether it is worth the premium price or not. Being an ultrabook, the design is characteristically sleek and elegant. The thickness is limited to 15.6 mm, while the weight is just 1.4 kilos. The top of the lid has a brushed metal finish circling the off-centered Asus logo. The entirety of the laptop is covered in an aluminium alloy, which is matte black and looks premium. While trying to open the laptop, it fails the single-handed opening test. The user will need to press down on the keyboard to open the lid completely. Opening up the laptop reveals the small but well-spaced out keyboard and a massive trackpad. The keyboard offers a satisfactory amount of travel and feels good and easy to type on. The trackpad is massive, smooth, but takes a physical click instead of haptic feedback, so it requires a certain bit of effort to use. It can also double as a touch-sensitive numpad, which can perform the job on occasion, but won't be replacing a dedicated numpad on the keyboard. The laptop, once opened, can be pushed back further till the lid is flipped back completely. This way, it can be used in different ways, as is the case with all 2-in-1 laptops.
While the tight hinge makes it tough to open the laptop, what it fails at is keeping the screen stable, as if the user is typing fast or using the touch screen while in laptop mode, the display shakes a lot. Moving to the sides of the laptop, we see many vents along the left and right sides along with the back. Along with the vents on the side are ports. On the left side, we get an HDMI 2.0 port along with two USB 3.2 Gen 2 Type-C ports capable of driving displays and charging the laptop simultaneously. On the right side, we have a USB 3.2 Gen 2 Type-A port, a 3.5mm audio jack and a microSD card slot. While the microSD card could have been done away with, the USB-C charging is appreciated. Overall, the laptop feels solid throughout, whether it's the base of the keyboard or the lid. And the build quality assurance is furthered by the MIL STD 810H standards of military-grade strength. Taking our gaze to the display, it remains glued to it. After all, it is beautiful. The display on this laptop is one of the very best you can get for the price. It is a 2.8K OLED panel which is smooth with a 90Hz refresh rate. It covers 100% DCI P3 color gamut along with validations and certifications for color accuracy, HDR and eye safety. So the colors are not only plenty but also extremely accurate. At maxed out brightness, things explode off the screen. Watching any kind of content is a delight, and color grading photos and videos will be a treat for the creators. And the 16:10 aspect ratio makes it taller too. But the speakers that are coupled with the display are the exact opposite. They are bad just as much as the display is amazing. The bass is non-existent and they sound tinny, so easily headphones will be the way to go for content consumption. Alright, time to talk about performance. Now remember all the vents we talked about earlier? They are there for good reason. Those vents help in keeping the air circulation inside the laptop intact for performance that is powerful and efficient, while the sound from the fans does not gain many decibels. The unit that we reviewed comes with the Ryzen 7 5800H, 16GB of RAM and 1TB SSD. While performing normal tasks, the laptop blazes through. Having multiple apps open hardly bothers the internals and the fans remain dead silent. While photo editing is not much of a task on the laptop, 4K video editing works well. If the timeline remains largely light without many graphics, cutting up shots and color correction is smooth on the laptop, while export times are acceptable. The laptop does begin to get warm while all of this happens, but the fans still keep quiet. The efficiencies of the Ryzen 7 chip also come in handy for the battery life. With average use, the Zenbook 14 Flip can stay on for 10 to 11 hours with the brightness set at 75%. As for the webcam, it is an average 720p webcam which is paired with some decent noise-cancelling mics. The Asus Zenbook 14 Flip OLED makes a whole lot of sense. It comes with a great display, solid design, good selection of ports, great performance and just the right amount of battery life. It does start at a premium price of 91,990 rupees for the variant with Ryzen 5 5600H, 16GB RAM and 512GB storage. But such a premium price becomes worth it for everything it brings to the table or occasionally to your lap.
I introduced our next review as a mouthful and a tongue twister. Let's see if I can again remember it. These are in-ear monitoring headphones, KZZZ. No, there's one Z that I've said too many. KZSN Pro X. I mean, come on, guys. Get a little bit more friendly with the kind of names you're giving, but the sound is great. Matte black metal exterior, transparent interior. Earphones have a very secure fit. Go right deep in. The sound reproduction. Wow, at this price point, really wow. Bass punchy, nice rumble. You can feel it. Treble, significant mids and vocals, very understated but just about right. Soundstage does get that, but it's not that wide, but it does sound very accurate.
Well, today along with everything new, we're also going to talk about something that often gets forgotten along the way, especially with the phones and some of the other gadgets losing the headphone jack. We're going to talk about a pair of wired in-ear monitors called the ZSN Pro X. We're taking a look at what they continue to provide even today to be considered worth buying. Let us start with what we see first. The KZ ZSN Pro X come with a matte black metal exterior and transparent plastic interior. The cable is a detachable braided one and the end connecting to both the earbuds is hooded. Hence, it needs to be looped around the ear while having the earbuds on. The earbuds are designed in the shape of the inside of the ear, hence they sit deep inside the ear. And yet, when plugged in, they feel comfortable, lightweight and easy to use for hours. The looped wire adds confidence to the fit and avoids the earbuds from being displaced if the cable is accidentally pulled. The braided form of the wire does have a disadvantage, as it can very easily tangle up, and if rolled and packed into a bag, the user will need some time to untangle the mess. From the transparent interior, it is easy to see all the densely populated insides of the earbuds. And the most significant part of the inside of both earbuds are the 10mm titanium coated dynamic drivers responsible for providing the sound. And the sound produced has a signature tipped towards warmth. It has an extremely strong, tight and punchy bass. It's bold and rumbly, something which the bass heads will be delighted with. The mids and vocals are slightly understated but still hold their ground well. The treble is significant, which works great with the punchy bass. As for the soundstage, it does not get all that wide. As a result, the instrument separation is good but not ideal. As for picking up the sound, the mic on the ZSN Pro X is good for calls, even though it needs to be brought closer to the mouth to work well. Plugging them into the phones which still have headphone jacks clearly defines the exact difference the wire makes. Listening to a lossless track with the earbuds plugged in shows how incredible the sound is when the bandwidth is not limited by the Bluetooth connection. And using a USB-C dongle, or better yet, a budget USB-C DAC, which powers the earphones, can be used to reproduce even better and more detailed sound, regardless of the connection being to a phone or a laptop. While one cannot forget the amount of comfort TWS have brought to our lives, we must also remember the lack of latency and the amazing sound wired headsets and earphones bring to the table. And at the same time, the price for a pair of TWS which offers sound which can be even remotely close to these in-ear monitors is well over 8,000 rupees. And the price for a new pair of KZ ZSN Pro X, 1,699 rupees. So, if you're looking for amazing sound for an extremely low price and can manage things with a tangly wire, the ZSN Pro X would be extremely easy for us to recommend.
Let's take a quick break right now on the Gadget 360 show. When we come back, lots of things are popping on the show. Next up, the Logitech Pop Mouse. Again, comes in loud, attention-grabbing colors, silent but tactile keys, large clickable scroll wheel and a customizable button right underneath. The buttons can be customized in Logitech Options app. Mouse can connect to 3 devices at once, so if you're switching between one to the other, it's all instantaneous. You know, it is pretty ergonomic for hours of use, good only for casual use is what I would say. If you're going to use this for a long time, then maybe Pop is not right way to go. Powered by a AA battery, can stay on for about 2 years, priced at 2,995.
2 weeks ago, we reviewed the Logitech Pop Keys, a keyboard with mechanical keys, loud colors, and an aesthetic and utility that fit in well with Gen Z. Well, we are going to talk about a mouse that will be its perfect partner in terms of everything, be it design, utility, and the loud colors. And its name is Pop Mouse. So the Pop Mouse we have comes with this loud yellow top along with a black lower half. The top along with the buttons is a single piece of plastic. The buttons are silent, meaning that they will give good tactile feedback but without your ears hearing the loud click. In the middle of the 2 buttons is a large clickable scroll wheel that becomes super easy to use because of its size. Right below it is an extra button that by default is programmed to bring up the emoji menu on the screen when clicked. But this button along with the clickable scroll wheel can be programmed for far smarter and more productive functions, all made possible through the Logitech Options app. The entire mouse is very small and lightweight. It can be packed into any bag regardless of the size. And based on the rather concise and small design, it is meant to be used by casual users, as if used for long hours, it will feel less and less ergonomic. If you noticed the lack of wire, that is because the mouse uses Bluetooth or a wireless unified receiver to connect with the device. The mouse is capable of connecting 3 different devices at the same time, and one can easily switch between the 3 devices using the pairing button underneath it. Coming back to the Logitech Options app, The different functions that can be configured to be performed by the scroll wheel and the button under are ridiculous. As for the Gen Z part, these buttons can be assigned to a specific emoji or to open up the entire list of emojis. The app can also be used to swap the left and right buttons, as the design of the mouse is ambidextrous. And one can also alter the scroll speed and the speed of the pointer. Coming to the battery life, the mouse is powered by a single AA battery which one can find after lifting the entire top plastic panel of the mouse. This AA battery can keep the mouse on for 2 whole years. While offering a host of customizability, features and ergonomics is not what the Pop Mouse can do, it is a simple, small, wireless, ambidextrous, slightly customizable and practical mouse with the style statement. And if that is something that speaks to you, it is available for the price of 2,995 rupees, which you will find worth spending. But if you are looking for all the things and features stated earlier, this mouse will feel pricey and you will be better off with something else.
That then was the Gadget 360 show for this week. As always, this was an incredible run-up of things that we're doing, but just watch out. Next week, I've got a big surprise for you.